Actually, we don't have any directive from the government, so we have written to them, give us some permission. Only now the permission is that one person, a visiting devotee can be here for a few hours, morning, morning 1 or 2 hours. Then they go back. No other. We have written to the collector. What should be done? They are not yet answer. You kindly contact us after a few days. As it is, nobody is allowed. We are sorry. No, sorry. You kindly inquire, give us a call after 3-4 days. By that time, we might be able to get some idea. If they say no, okay, we can't say do anything. Kannur. Not Kannur. Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Today we shall have a quick recap right from the introductory note by Papa for his first book, In Quest of God. When we were dwelling on the theme entitled, what was the title of the article? O Ram, the truth, the love, the goal of human perfection. All hail, all hail. We all know that right from 1920 onwards, an intense urge to realize the presence of the indwelling reality welled up in the mind of Vittal Rao, and steadfastly he took it up. Ultimately, God made him to take the leap of severing all the worldly ties on December 27th December 1922, and banking upon nothing excepting God. Nothing means literally nothing. He was taken from Mangalore, Himalayas, and then back to Mangalore. So we all surmise that he must have come back to the caves of Mangalore by the end of 1923. And then, for the sake of all of us, he must have taken up the experience in the form of Quest of God. So it is rightly coming from the oven, no? Hot. It is not an afterthought. So the first thing we feel that, because he has not expressed. First thing we all feel he would have thought that before he introduces the word Ram, he should make ourselves clear what is meant by the Ram by. That is why he said, O Ram, the truth, thou, the goal of human perfection, all hail, all hail. So the Ram stands for the impersonal. Later on, he clearly mentions Ram stands for the self, Atma. The word Ram stands for purely the self, the Atma, who is the indwelling and all-pervading reality. So the first lesson is that whatever wells up in our mind, if yesterday we said, proper contemplation, absorption, integration, assimilation, everything had taken place, and he was able to get the clarity on the word God as Ram. And then, before he takes us to the journey, he wanted us to know all the basics. Another clue for all of us. Not simply start doing something, In his case, he was very clear. Everything was clear, though it was all apparently unstructured. Here it looks as if, everything has been structured. Many of us are still struggling or were struggling because we did not have any structured, you should do this first, you should do the second, you should do this third. No. As soon as we come to this ashram, we hear Ramnam chanting going on, we also join. We join this program, that program. When masters were available, we used to go and spend some time. We were really thrilled by their darshan. Again, we go back, we get disconnected. Again, we come back. That's all. There was no desire to know so many things which are very important. So in this first article, he gives us all that is to be known for a spiritual aspirant or a devotee. With that bhavana, we went through it again. We can name it as an imaginary sketch. Papa did not say this is the sketch. So he has given us an option now to have our own imagination. So this is an imaginary sketch on the course of studies of spirituality, compiled from the life and writings of Papa Swami. Probably this is what he wanted all of us to do first. Not simply to read and find out what is behind the two lines, beyond the two lines. There is a structure there. We look at it through that. It can be through so many things, but this is how the prompting comes to us. On the first day when we were taking up this, so many ideas came through the chat options. And based upon that, we have compiled. Let us see now. Because this is very important. Very important. So we are now trying to understand, just like any university or college or education institution. They bring out big advertisement or what you call press release, prospectus, they call it, in which everything is contained. So here we can say this is something like a prospectus. But it is imaginary sketch. We have culled out from Papa's words, and now he has given us the feeling that this is the course of studies on spirituality. Papa's deeply insightful opening remarks in Quest of God, under the title O Ram, the truth, the love, the goal of human perfection, all hail, clearly and candidly answers many of our questions regarding the curriculum, syllabus, methodology, finally, the culmination, the degree of our spiritual journey. By going through this exercise, aspirant will get more clarity in his or her journey toward the ultimate. This may be an intellectual exercise, but at the same time, this will help us to some extent. This is what is to be done. Oh, this is what is to be concentrated upon. This is something which we have unknowingly neglected. So first is aim of the spiritual journey, to know who Ram is. He says Ram is a subtle and mysterious power that pervades and sustains the whole universe. Birthless and deathless is he. He is present in all things and in all creatures who only appear as separate entities due to their ever-changing forms. Ram is in all is in Ram. Ram is all in all. When we were sharing some thoughts on prayer, many of you might remember, there is a prayer from Swami Omkarji Maharaj. Adorable presence. Sanidhyam. P capital. So to know who Ram is, that presence, what is that? That is the aim. Though the presence is there, we are not aware of the presence. And there also he brings it out. Here Papa brings it out. What is this Ram? Presence. It is a subtle and mysterious power. The power because of which now the words are being uttered through this form. The power because of which the words are being heard by different forms. But at the same time, will we be able to locate that? No, mysterious. Just like electricity going through a gadget, Ram is going through this gadget called the individual, sense of individuality. If the switch is off, finished, this is Jada. Mysterious. So every word we have to first is introducing what is the aim of our spiritual journey. To know who Ram is. And he gives us, Ram is a subtle and mystic. It is not gross. It is no tangible. It is not form. It is not a form. It has no gross, expression. So it is subtle, number one. And mysterious power. That pervades and sustains the whole universe. One example is, we hope all of you remember, if we plug the two openings in the nose and the mouth in 10-15 minutes time, that will take place. So the life force is entering into this body through the doorways called nostrils and the mouth. Just imagine. This need not be 100% right, but to some extent we can understand. Is all pervading. This is subtle. We cannot say that. How does the breathing goes on? How does the various functions take place because of this life force goes in? We can call it as life force. Every word we can keep on contemplating. During these 5-6 days, when we took up this first, we couldn't move beyond this because it contains everything. The more we apply our mind, the more we become. This is called the presence. Yeah. He is there now, present. Not that we have to seek him elsewhere. He is in the form of existence, Sat. He is in the form of awareness, the Chit. He is in the form of fullness, the bliss. Now and here. This one particular word, Ram is a subtle and mysterious power that pervades and sustains the whole universe. Birthless and deathless is He. He is present in all things and in all creatures who only appear as separate entities due to their ever-changing forms. So it's floating. We can conceptualize like this, This all the sense of individuality, all that we see in the universe is floating in this. So to know this is the spiritual journey. This is called the spirit, subtle, which is mysterious power, and our aim is to know this. Aim of the spiritual journey is to know this Ram. And then we need a school. So though not in this, he has given us the world we live in is a school in which observation and experience offer us immense possibilities for self-improvement. Nay, the world itself is Guru. Because we need an institution where we will have the spiritual education. He has provided the world before us. We don't have to run after anything. This is also a wonderful exposition for us. So the aim of the spiritual journey is clear, to know who Ram is. Where from I will learn? The world is before you. That is the school. And then quest. Spiritual education starts with any education for that matter. The word quest. Father and mother, when they are 5 years old or 6 years old, we are taken to the school. We have no idea about education, no idea about quest, no idea about anything, We just join. Then we slowly develop all the ideas. Probably in a month's time or 2 months' time, we have some idea about what is to be done. What is the subject, what is the notebook, what is the homework, what is the role of a teacher, what is the role of myself, what is the methodology. Slowly, yes. So here, question. One should be very clear as to what he or she is in search of. Because the school is vast, the world is vast. What are we in search for? That we should know. We may look at a tree, but our attention may be on so many things of the tree, except on the creative power in it. No doubt they are also relevant. But here the priority is that we should be able to see the creative power, how the seed sprouts. A seed, when it is kept on a table, it doesn't have any, apparently it doesn't have any action. But the moment we put it in a conducive atmosphere under the earth, with all the prerequisites, after a period of say 7 days or 8 days or 1 month, it breaks open. So the creative power is inside. Are we thinking, if we are not clear about this, we will be just looking at the tree, appreciating it, and then go back. That is why he said the spiritual education starts with a question. One should be very clear as to what he or she is in search of. Without Papa's case, it was clear that the search is to become aware of the indwelling and all-pervading reality. So he says, a keen desire to realize Ram's infinite love, kindled by Ram in the heart of his humble slave, Ram. So here the greatest advantage is this 2 plus 1, 3 years time, he got stabilized in this. That even the very prompting came, the quest came because of Ram. In our case, we still feel we are learning, So Papa says, unless you bring this dimension, it will not be a success. He is providing us the prompting, motivation. Think about all these things. He is facilitating through so many things. He is providing all the equipments in our body to hear, to absorb, to assimilate. If that is not there, if I simply take that I am hearing, I am reading, I am going through, I am thinking, I am trying to assimilate, we will be there where we started. Another clear cut. Indilled by Ram. Then naturally a curriculum. Curriculum means, the syllabus will be there, the training will be there, so many things. I mean, the theory and the practice, all put together, we can say call it as curriculum. An overall picture covering both the theory and practice is necessary for spiritual education. So it is not real. It is not memorizing something, learning something by heart, pushing something into our intellect. It is also there, but apart from that, realize the great truth that love of Ram means love of all beings, all creatures, all things in this world. So love of Ram, we can say it is a theory, and love of all beings, creatures, and things in the world is called curriculum. Papa places before the curriculum. You should have both these ideas. Not one is diverged from another. Aim of things, aim of spiritual education, the school, the quest, the curriculum. And next comes the syllabus subject. For LKG, UKG, first standard, second standard, simple texts are introduced. But here, Papa straight away takes up the biggest text. First, we can only understand. We can understand, try to understand the literal meaning of that word, sarana. We got this clarity only when we read in one of his articles that you should first surrender and then chant. Not chanting and surrender. You should first surrender to the Lord and then chant. We couldn't understand why. But now we understand. First, before he entered into this quest of God, this is what he did. So he says this is the subject. Complete surrender to the will of Ram. Surrender is not a verbal assertion. It is not a mental acceptance, but a state of consciousness. By a complete surrender to the will of Ram, we lose consciousness of the body, which keeps us aloof from him, and find ourselves in a state of complete identification and union with Ram, who is in us, everywhere around us. When we read this, we may immediately feel he is asking us to do the PhD first and then take up the studies. That is because we have created in our mind such a feeling. Now we realize that unless the surrender aspect is clear, even our Ram chanting will be on the surface level. Even our bhajan will be on the surface level. Even our satsang will be on the surface level. Even our pilgrimages will be on the surface level. Because the core of the thing which we have forgotten, So the subject is only surrender. Surrender, surrender, surrender. This is the one, if you now observe all the chapters, you find everywhere this is writ large. Papa's whole guidance comes from this surrender. Because we have not started it, the mind will resist this now, naturally. We thought, Ram, Nam, Dhyan, Seva, and surrender. No, no. In order to ensure that it does not become a superficial surface level activity, Papa brings in places before us. This is the syllabus. Once again, we will read his word. By a complete surrender to the will of Ram, we should know we have not still entered into the text called In Quest of God. We lose consciousness of the body which keeps us aloof from him and find ourselves in a state of complete identification and union with Ram, who is in us and everywhere. Suppose when we start with this, how am I to surrender? I don't know you. I believe you are there. So then we called out from so many things, He is the life force. He is the witness consciousness. He is the creative force, the sustaining power, that which motivates towards constant change, the overall intelligence which governs the universe by physical and spiritual law, truth, love, goodness, kindness, beauty, the ever-present, all-pervading essence of spirit, which binds everything in the universe together, gives life to everything in the universe. That means clarity on the truth is necessary for enabling us to surrender. If I don't know to whom to surrender, how will I surrender? Then I should know, no. So when he just brings the word surrender, he makes us to immediately ask, to whom? To that mysterious power Ram. How am I to go near him? It is still subtle and mysterious. It is not tangible. It is not palpable. It is not cognizable. It is not understandable. Then how am I to surrender? So through so many other, then we start searching. And that search gives us this. He himself says, witness consciousness, he himself says, life is the expression of Atma. So seemingly two, they are one. We all know, we did not give, either we did not know or we did not give importance to that. Ram is life. Creator, protector, destroyer of the world. The creative force, the sustaining element, that which motivates towards constant change, which we call as destruction. So subject is surrender. Now let us be very clear about it. We have not applied our mind on that. So when I am doing anything under the banner of spiritual discipline, I should know that this is the syllabus. Hurdles are there. Yeah, hurdles are there. The idea of I and mine must disappear entirely before the aspirant can find absolute freedom and peace in union with God. That means feeling as separate individuals through ignorance. So first of all itself, when the syllabus is made clear, immediately the problem comes. What is preventing me to surrender? It is the me and mine. So Papa says, start thinking now. How will you subdue? How will you control? How will you bring its influence on you down? Because we don't allow the God factor in us to come to play. Because by the time it's slowly, I go and stand before it. So he gives way for our ego. Bhagavan says in one of his beautiful quotations, God is always the first person. Ramana Bhagavan says, I, ever standing before you, because you give precedence to worldly things, God appears to have receded to the background. The I really belongs to him. But in my mind, I have brought all the worldly things into the picture, so he takes backseat. God is always the first person, the I, ever standing before you. Because you give precedence to worldly things, God appears to have receded to the background. So hurdles, they are almost now clear. Now comes the methodology. So two things are important now. Aim is to know who Ram is. Okay? School we are very clear. And now curriculum we are clear. That means not only knowing, feeling his presence in us, feeling his presence everywhere. Syllabus now is surrender. We are not able to surrender. Surrender is not one thing, as Papa told. The state of consciousness. You cannot say what is surrender. It's not a thing to be achieved or something. After surrendering only we have to chant. That means you have to think about it. Clear. We say we are not surrendered. We are not able to surrender. Because something we know, understand. Why we are now, we have not started with that, no. In his case, surrender itself is. We thought that is the aim. That is the ultimate. Yes. But that is the beginning. Because he is everything. Once you surrender, everything over. No, it's not over. Realize the great truth. He says, kindled by Ram. That is surrender. Even the very act of doing this sadhana, even the very act of now you're questioning this, is because he prompted, he becomes aware. That is surrender. Again, don't think surrender is a theory. Surrender is, he clearly mentions here, kindled by Ram. A keen desire to realize Ram's infinite love, kindled by Ram in the heart of his humble slave Ram. Surrender, no. Not that I started realize, I want to realize God. God makes me to feel this, that I should realize. In that particular article where he says surrender should come first, he said, we should know even the very prompting to chant God's name comes from him. Then only the chanting will become fruitful. Initially, we did not know. So we thought it is all theories. So we have to now keep on re-educating ourselves. What we thought as the final is the first step. So the mind has to be conditioned. And what is the first step? Even the very first step is motivated by him, which is the truth, which I should become aware. Just like he says, a keen desire to realize Ram's infinite love, kindled by Ram in the heart of his humble slave, Ram. First, we are reading from the first article.
The only thing we should say, I am not repeating, he is repeating.
He is making me to repeat.
Yeah, that only surrender.
He has given me.
That is surrender.
Now we will come to the methodology. To withdraw from all worldly activities and to move from individual to universal. That means, in his own words, recede from the world of vanishing form and totally subdue our egoism, self-assertion as a separate individual existence. That means universal. No? Totally subdue our egoism, our self-assertion as a separate individual existence. That is a move from individual to universal. So our methodology is main, to put it in one word, is expansion from individual to universe. With this background, when we go through the industries, like first one, first para, chapter, itself says all this. In glimpses, you will find the first one says, go to the source. So the methodology again, the unfold, constant remembrance of him through chanting of his name with the feeling that he seated within is making us to do so. Chanting constant remembrance of him through chanting of his name with the feeling that he seated within is making us to do so. Number two, dedicating every activity to him as seva because everything is his. When we come to this world, we do not bring anything. So whatever is necessary for our basic existence, whatever that are needed for a comfortable life are provided by him. So everything is ultimately his. So when I handle right from the tiniest to the grossest, I should know I must dedicate to him, to his different forms, that's all. Not that I am doing it. That is how does the surrender comes, yeah, these are all the ways by which the surrender comes. He has provided. Now he has provided the letters, he has provided the grammar, he has provided the usages, he has given us he has facilitated us to learn that, and he is now making us to use the language. The word A to Z, that was not done by us. Grammar was not done by us. The different idioms, phrases, all those things were not done by us. And we did not know how to do it. So he facilitated us to learn all these things through our teachers, through our education, through reading, through paper, through book, so many things. So when I become aware of this, even these words are to be offered to him only. This is called seva. And then trying to still the thoughts to get a glimpse of the core of our being through inward journey dhyana. He says, by concentrating our mind, by making all thoughts converge up to one point, revert your gaze within. Therein lies the splendor of our soul, which animates all your thoughts. This splendor is the divine consciousness within us. By concentrating our mind, that is, by making all thoughts converge up to one point, revert your gaze within. Therein lies the splendor of your soul, which animates all your thoughts. This splendor is the divine consciousness within us. We are in the methodology. Put it in one word, individual to universal. Think in terms of universal, not in terms of individual. Talk in terms of universal, not in terms of individual. Do in terms of universal, not in terms. These are all the words of Papa. This is the methodology. We never knew that. And for that to make it a reality in our life, in so many words later, he gave us this Nam Dhyan Seva. We all do this as a ritual, as a practice, as an exercise. But the rationale behind it is expansion from am I? Then next comes periodical evaluation. Before appearing for the final exams, the practice is to check up whether sufficient clarity and progress are there, or is there lack of intensity and commitment. Otherwise, you will not be able to. We started the course, no doubt. So he says, introspection and direct examination of one's own heart are essential for a man who wishes to make himself pure, thereby prepare himself for obtaining eternal peace and happiness, which his soul thirsts for. And he lists out. Let him know where he stands, what he is, what his inner cravings are, what is the disease that has seized his soul, what are the impurities lurking in his mind, what is the great obstacle that stands between him and the immortal bliss and peace, what are the bonds that keep him tied down to the low levels of life and prevent him from soaring into the heaven of his real life and being, eternal truth. That means I normally we complain, we have completed the portion, teacher has done it. Still we say we don't understand. It is not clear. Unless I understand that it's not clear, how will I make it clear? Then we go to the teacher or the parent, if he is well educated, we will go and ask him this question. Today he took up this portion, I am not very clear. Or we may go to the teacher again. Or we may go to our classmate who has understood it well. Like that, we have to evaluate. Otherwise, we will not be able to sit for the final exam. So that is why elaborately he said, when you have diagnosed this problem, when you go to whom we should go, what we should do, he said, when he has thus by deep reflection discovered what he is, he can, through prayer, through self-discipline, through company of great souls, and acts of love and compassion, get rid of all impediments, mental obsessions, nay darkness that envelops his soul, and realize the splendor, power, peace, and joy of the great truth that dwells within him. So this evaluation, periodical, quarterly, half-yearly exams are there, no? In SSLC, in our times, we used to have monthly test. Monthly. What has been covered in the month, the teachers will give us a model exam there. Wonderful system, because the teachers were very particular that we absorb. Otherwise, how will I know? And when I am not in a position to answer it, the teacher will call, why you have not answered like this? Why you have answered like this? Why you have not answered properly? So I was not clear. Again, he will give us what is needed for us. So this is the periodic evaluation. Again, to repeat, aim of the spiritual journey, institution, quest, curriculum, syllabus, hurdles, methodologies, periodical evaluation. And then comes the examination. When I pass through all these things, Papa puts in a simple way. That means we need some exercise to know that we are moving on the right direction. No? That is called examination. Sacrifice all the interests that concern the body for the welfare of our fellow men and fellow creatures who are all manifestations of the same Ram. Unless and until me and mine is completely rooted out, how will it come? Just imagine. Sacrifice all the interests that concern the body for the welfare of our fellow men and fellow creatures who are all manifestations of the same Ram. Every moment we can watch. That means every moment we are put to this examination. We may fail. On some occasion, we may succeed. The number of the points secured, the points lost, we will know every day. Then we will try to improve. The points secured should be more. Just like in a game, when they give us 3 or 4 chances. So every day from morning, this test is there. Sacrifice all the interests that concern the body for the welfare of our fellow men and fellow creatures who are all manifestations of the same love. Every now and then when we are...
Love is not there. They are loving our body only.
This is the examination. We have to prepare for the examination. Every now and then we need some testimony, because whenever I am in doubt, whenever there are failures after failures, what is it that gives me the confidence? I don't think I'll be able to do it. No. Then somebody comes and says, no, it's not like that. Failures are stepping stones. Perseverance is a keynote for success. All those things, they keep on advising us. Nothing is lost. So like that, we need some testimony. So here, to get stabilized in our pursuit, we need some concrete proof. The biographical sketch of the life and mission of a galaxy of... Me and mine is strong, And final degree, what is it that is going to be? At the end of the pursuit, what will be conferred on us? A state of complete identification and union with Ram. A state of complete identification and union with Ram. Final accreditation. What is the ultimate fruition of our entire effort? He says the fullest manifestation of Ram, the great truth, the infinite love. So this is how our imaginary sketch of the course of studies given by Papa. We feel this revelation should have come on the first day of our entry here. Then Papa says from inside, you will not be able to understand anything unless you pass through certain this thing. So even for the entrance test, you need to sit for an entrance test. Tomorrow we will take up all these. We have to surrender, we realize that everything is already in the mind. So this is the first introductory article, gives us the prospect, our course of studies. So let us be clear now. This is the first book, first article of the first book of Papa. Eh? 8 lines. Only hardly one page. But only by assimilating, by going deeper, we are able to find out this. We would have read. Initially, we did not read out for this particular. We straight away go to the first chapter. Later on, we started reading this. But never applied our mind deeply on this. Because there was struggle. When we do the sadhana, as prescribed by, as understood by us, not as prescribed by, as understood by us, when we started doing it, in right earnest we did. And we know there are hurdles, the number of hurdles. We are not in a position to do throughout our waking stage chanting. Even by chanting this Surrender has not stuck towards the power. Even while we are doing, we thought, seva means, helping others. We never thought, the moment I get up till I retire to bed, all the activity that I do is called seva. All these things were not clear to us. And when we heard in Dhyan, we thought sitting on a cross leg, vertebral column erect, and then close your eyes and sit there. What next? No idea. Mind will be roaming. Because mind is, we have not applied our mind on whom it should be concentrated upon. So all things we got started, probably in our case, for passing the entrance exam, Papa thought, you have to first go through all these things. And then now you can understand slowly that there is an implied course of study. There is a structured course of studies. Though it looks unstructured. Because with that, when we look at, we find, yes, you are chanting God's name, you are trying to look everything as God's creation, you are surrendering everything to your power, nothing was getting affected. You had the clarity on the impersonal aspect of this. He was not carried away by anything that is traditional. All these things because he had the clarity right from the start. The 2 years must have been the real struggle for him, 20 to 22. So when God made him to go through the severe stressful period, finally God showed him also, I am there, don't worry. I have given you all this, I have prepared yourself, and now come on, hold my hand, I will take you. So this is how the introductory report we look at it. Because he himself has said, the first learning one gets from Viral Papa's teaching is that spiritual journey is not a structured one, and each one has to chalk out one's own path based upon the constitution of the body, mind, intellect. So he was very particular. However, for a beginner, some structuring is necessary in the initial stage, as otherwise it becomes a non-starter. With this view, a deep search inside the teachings of Viral Papa was undertaken. And here are the findings. Now, in the case of a little more committed person like Anandashram, the Purvashram name of Pujya Swami Satsang, who expressed his deep desire for a contemplative life, Papa did give a structured one. This we don't know now. But in his case, he knew he was a committed person. In the case of a little more committed person like Anandashivan, who expressed his deep desire for a contemplative life, Papa, on greeting him after assuming sannyas at Rishikesh and taking the new name Sachidananda, suggested in his letter the following guidelines. Clear cut. You now know that your life is entirely dedicated to God. Number 2, feel conscious of this every moment, that the life is dedicated to God, nothing else, only for God. This thought itself will help you in realizing the goal. Of course, our hearty blessings are with you for your attainment of self-illumination. Do sadhana in a disciplined manner. Be regular in your early morning meditations. Avoid tamasic influences either from within or without. Do not get involved in any external work, however exalted it may appear to be. Concentrate on the sadhana. Occasionally go and have darshan of Swami Shivananji. His company, even for a short while, will be a source of inspiration to you. Keep before you the central truth that God dwells within you and that you are his manifestation. This he gave in 1950. On 26th January 1949, Anandashivan joined here, dedicated his life, and he got involved in various types of activities. And we presume that early in 1950, he must have told, Papa, enough is enough. I don't want this. I want to lead a contemplative life. 1 year of intensely observing. And Swamiji was very clear, though he was perfectly handling everything, he was not getting any joy. So he had the, boldness to go and tell Papa, I don't want this type of life. I want a contemplative life. And then immediately Papa said, yes, okay, very good. You go to Rishikesh. You take sannyas. You stay there independently. Never join any organization. So now I feel everything is structured. So now keep before you the central truth that at the beginning he gives you this, that God is dwells within you, that you are all his manifestation. Let your mind always dwell on him. Let Ram Nam ring on your lips whenever you are not doing any meditation or reading. You may reduce the reading to the minimum. Learn by heart some stotras that elevate your mind. Be free and cheerful like a bird and feel assured that the divine is at your back. You are sure to reach the goal. What a package. A package of instructions. Everything has been touched here. Do's and don'ts are clear. Methodology is clear. Aim is clear. Everything is clear. When we started, applying our mind more and more on this, Acha, Papa, you gave a clear cut. Then Papa answered that he did not volunteer. That is the difference. He allowed Swamiji to work here. And he wanted to come out in his own way. That is unstructured. We should know the difference between the structure and unstructured. By the word unstructured, what Papa means, pathless path, what he means is, it should come from within, just like it came from within. And then when he approaches somebody gives him a chart. And it is up to us to take up the chart. Because when I ask something, it will be within the limits of my limitations. Within my reservations will be there, my conditionings are there. Because I am not following what you said. I am just placing it because I have not been able to understand so many things. I am coming out with my own. If I have got a better idea, I will not come to you. Then he gives these sparks of clarity. So it is unstructured, yes, but it is also structured. So this makes us to think now whether what we have been doing is on the correct line. It may be right also. All these things probably we would not have put in an order in the way in which now it is discussed. But everywhere it is all there. So probably it will become easy for us now to bring out, there is children used to play with that box, so many numbers will be there, and all the numbers are to be properly put in, and you win the game. 1 to 9 or something. Sudoku, for example. Similarly, our job is now to put everything. So many things Papa has given now in our lifetime. Probably not in a structured way, not in a in a in a in a in a way it should give us the benefit. But he makes us to know that we have not also really drawn the fullest benefit. So now, with all these readings, with all these hearings, with all these inputs given by Papa, we can try to rearrange our thinking system, our approaching system, so that we will be able to derive the fullest benefit. So, in our recap, we were just able to touch only the iceberg of a tip of the iceberg. Tip of the iceberg. Tip of the iceberg of prospectors. So, we are deeply thankful to Papa because he has thrown us a lot of light on this. An article which did not attract the attention of anybody. Now we know why you placed it on the first before starting the chapter. Previously, we did not know. But now, when you want us to go deeper and deeper into it, it becomes very clear. It contains a hidden prospectus, not in an expressive form, but in an implied form. Rest of the chapters we will take up tomorrow, and so many people have written so many things in their chats we couldn't go through. We will go through it tomorrow and try to share some thoughts on it also. Anyway, 100% there is a feeling now that he is holding our hands and taking us from stage to stage. Slowly we can feel that. That feeling itself is a shadow experience of the surrender. He is holding our hand and he is taking us deeper, 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 deeper. So we are safe in his hand. So we are praying to him, please don't make me to divert my attention to nothing else. Let me cling on to you inwardly and join this before long so that we can reach the goal. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Only a tip of the iceberg. Only a tip of the iceberg. Iceberg you have to find out means how much you have to go deep, how much it is a big mountain. Maybe not always built so tight. The mountain. Only
Honest thing in the Karma Jyoti. Here comparing how deep we have to go and the Gaveshana, how much should be there. Starting itself.